The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
Well, I'm going to listen to that wonderful voice and do just that. Good morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. Happy Friday to you. It's going to be a great weekend. We'll find out just how hot it's going to get with our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore coming up in just a second. We'll be visiting with Dot Fleshman. You know her, you love her, with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. A little real estate talk, a little friendship talk today. And then I'm going to head over to Exist Stretch, which I've been asking all of you. Have you had a chance to get in there yet? Again, the very first stretch is absolutely free. So we don't know why you haven't been in. If you have, I'd love for you to drop a comment in and tell me what you've loved about them. 2 locations. I'm going to go to the Arnold one today. They also are in St. Louis Hills on Hampton. So check them out at Exist Stretch on social media or existstretch.com if you want to check out their website. Well, hope you're having a great start to your day. If not, we've got a bunch of smiles for you from some incredible people that are here to give you some news you can use and to get you into your weekend. If you're making plans for the weekend and you're like, should I be by the pool? Should I go get into a boat? Can I do outside activities? Is it going to be a hot one? We're going to answer all those questions in our very first segment called What the Weather.
Good evening and welcome into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beck Moore.
Well, good morning, Beckett. I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages.
I know it's felt like a while.
Well, we were in Birmingham, we were away, and it was like, I don't have a show on Monday, I don't have a show on Friday. But now we are back. Have you been enjoying the beginning days of being out of school?
Yeah, it's been very nice. We spent the weekend in Memphis, played some golf, spent some time with my grandparents, and yeah, it's been nice, but it has been a little hot out.
It has been hot. I've been saying it. This is when we definitely want to try to get by a pool. How's the golf game coming along?
Pretty good. I'm not too consistent, but I'm going to try and play a lot more.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so is this one of those weekends that if we have a friend or a family member that has a pool or has a boat that we come knocking on their door and say, please let me in?
Yeah, this weekend, and especially as we head into next week, is when we're going to be dealing with those dog days of summer. It's going to be very hot out and sunny.
And we haven't even started summer yet, right? Isn't that coming up in what, like a couple weeks?
Yeah, in a couple weeks, yeah. We're almost there.
Might be a sign of things to come. All right, well, let us know how things are going to look today into the weekend and for next week.
Yeah, so looking at the current conditions right now, 70 degrees out there, mostly cloudy skies, a couple peaks of sunshine through the clouds this morning. Dew point around 59, so it's actually not too humid out there right now. Our sunset tonight around 8:22. Afternoon, we are going to get up to 88 degrees, so that's not too bad for this time of the year. Mostly sunny skies, so we will get that cloud cover to get mostly out of the way by this afternoon. 72 is our low tonight. Tomorrow, 90, so warming up a little bit with continuing with those mostly cloudy or mostly sunny skies. By Sunday, that's when we get our first rain chance. On this 7-day forecast, it is a 60% chance of rain, so if you are going to the air show this weekend, make sure to keep that in mind because that is going to be something to watch out for that rain during the air show. 80% chance of rain on Monday, another chance especially higher on Monday, so watch out for that. And then as we head into Tuesday, that's when we really start warming up towards Wednesday and Thursday. By Thursday, 97 degrees, sunny skies, so definitely enjoy today, tomorrow, and even the rainy days because it is going to get hot.
Dear Lord, 97. That's the first time I've seen it that warm. I'm not expecting that.
No.
Okay, are you going to the air show?
Yes,
Oh, fantastic. All right, well, you'll have to report back to me and let me know how it was on Monday.
I will.
All right, my friend, have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, folks, that's Beckett Moore. And yeah, are you ready for summer, by the way? I was not ready for that 97. I got to tell you that. But we do have the pool open. That makes me excited. And yeah, I was thinking I got to go take Mama Jackie out on the boat. It's about time. All right, I want to send so much of our healing energy and thoughts and prayers to our dear friend Steve Ewing, who's been on the show. He's a friend of the show. We talked about him earlier in the week, how his South Grand Steve's Hot Dogs location was vandalized. We told you there was a video where someone took a rock and threw it into the glass, shattered the glass. They put up the wood. 2 days later, that person comes back. Doesn't take anything. It's so frustrating. And then this happens. I'm not sure if you saw this, but his wife was walking in Tower Grove Park, and there was a dog, one of the two dogs that this person was walking, that broke free and attacked their dog, as you're seeing here. Unfortunately, their dog was killed. She was injured when she was knocked down. So it's been an extremely tough week for the Ewings. And the problem is, as Steve was interviewed and was talking about, if you've got a big dog you can't handle, you probably shouldn't bring them around a park where there's a bunch of family, a bunch of kids. Don't you agree with this? I mean, feel free to drop a comment in about this. I'll ask Dot here in just a second because she's a dog lover. She's got her animals. Can you imagine if you are out walking, or your husband or your wife or your kids are out walking, and then all of a sudden this dog comes and attacks? So the person who owns the dog, they are trying to find the dogs and that person. If that were to happen, you also should take the responsibility and stay there. That's what's frustrating. Now, I will tell you, and I'm not going to say who, but there is a former colleague of mine that worked at one of the TV stations I worked at, and he went on social media yesterday, which really is what bothered me, and went off on pit bulls and just said there are several countries where the pit bulls are banned, and the United States should do the same thing. I know for a fact that if I reached out to Jessica Cook, our dear friend from Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue, she'd be so frustrated at that comment. It is the owners, folks. It is your lack of training with those animals, because at any point, we've seen animals that can become very vicious that are golden doodles and Labradors. You never know what's going to just kind of go off in them, but that's why you've got to be in control. That's why they have to be on a leash. You have to be able to take care of them. So it's frustrating that the attack happened, but blaming the breed of the dog, I have an issue with. Now, again, that's my comment. Feel free to drop in if you are going to kind of side with the fact that we should ban pit bulls, we should ban Rottweilers, we should ban Doberman Pinschers. It's always people blaming those bully breeds, right? Which is kind of bullying. So you tell me what you think about that. That's one of the stories that we want to set. And again, yes, Julie said, prayers for Steve and his family. Absolutely. I mean, what a rough week. When you think you've had a bad day, think about what they've gone through. Now we flip to some really good news. Have you seen this? St. Louis awarded the 2028 U.S. Olympic Marathon team trials ahead of the L.A. Games, which is really exciting. If you didn't get a chance to see Jackie Joyner-Kersee, I just love that woman's smile, don't you? The St. Louis Sports Commission announcing yesterday afternoon, St. Louis is hosting the U.S. Olympic Marathon team trials Saturday, March 25th, 2028. Major sporting event that's been added to St. Louis's growing lineup of national and international competitions. That announcement, by the way, was made at WashU, called a major win for the region. And the route will take runners through Washington University and Forest Park, highlighting iconic landmarks such as the Gateway Arch and the Busch Stadium, of course. The race will then finish inside of Energizer Park, which I love. I keep talking about the fact that it is one of the most beautiful stadiums that we have ever seen, and we've got it right here in St. Louis. But yeah, super cool. All right, so that's exciting news, and I like the fact that there's more attention coming to the St. Louis area, which we need, but we also need to clean things up with regards to crime so people feel safe getting into the city. Well, I didn't get a chance to do this in the news yesterday, so I do want to make sure that we talk about, for those Ford owners, that they are recalling more than 4,000 vehicles with a do not drive warning. And this is, according to the recall, the lower control arm ball joint. It may have been incorrectly installed or repaired, and as a result, the control arm could disconnect from the front wheel knuckle. The impacted vehicles are certain Ford Bronco Sport models from 21 to 26 and Ford Mavericks from 22 to 26. Now, notice letters will be sent to you by today if you haven't gotten them already. Ford dealerships will inspect the recalled vehicles and make those necessary repairs. And of course, whenever there's a recall, it is absolutely no cost to you, but a little unnerving, obviously, that was out there. Okay, I remember being in my beginning years of radio 30 years ago, talking about, Monica, when it comes time for you for Social Security, it may not be around, and we're just starting to see more and more signs of this. Social Security recipients could see $500 cuts to monthly benefits by 2032. Why? Well, the report was released by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and they warned that if Congress does not take action regarding Social Security's inevitable funding shortfall, that Americans' monthly payments would be reduced by hundreds of dollars within the next several years. Beneficiaries would face an automatic 24% reduction in monthly payments. averaging about $500 nationwide, but average monthly benefit cuts would even surpass $500 in 29 states. And I looked at ours. Illinois would be $507 and Missouri would be $490, so just a little bit less. But again, that's for people who rely on their Social Security checks. And then suddenly you're hearing that by 2032 that it could be reduced. So I'm just hoping that it's, like I said, I'm hoping it's still around by the time I would actually start drawing that. Okay, the Cardinals were off last night. They are in town. They're taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Game time is at 7:15. And have you been excited about the World Cup? Are you a soccer fan? I am, for sure. Obviously, you know, if you watch the show, you know that I played. So I'm excited about this. The problem is the ticket prices for seeing it in person are crazy expensive. So if you want to know when it's starting, it is next Thursday. You can see some games on tap. USA will be playing Paraguay. That'll be on Friday, June 12th at 8 p.m. So I want to know, are you looking at trying to get tickets? If so, they're ridiculously expensive. Otherwise, are you going to maybe go to a friend's house? Are you going to watch it on your own TV? Are you going to go to a bar? Let me know. Let me know if you're looking forward to the World Cup. And then for our National Day of Calendar, I'm excited about National Veggie Day. Where can you get the best veggie burger? Tell me, in St. Louis, where can we get that? Jim's probably excited about National Donut Day. National Start Over Day. Okay, so if you've been taking on a challenge and you're trying to work out and take care of yourself, go ahead. If you slipped off, that's fine. Start over. National Moonshine Day. Also, National Gingerbread Day. Those are the things that are on tap for you today on this Friday, June 5th. All right, before we take a break, I'm excited to tell you about our next Mobile Monica that we just booked yesterday. I've had a lot of you ask me, when can we come and see a Mobile Monica again? Well, this is where we're going to go. The Porch in Wildwood. Have you ever been? I am now in love. If you want someone to come into your home or your office and do a little interior decorating, you want to go and maybe you've got that eye on your own. Look at this place. Come on, this is not absolutely stunning. The Porch in Wildwood. So my question is, have you been yet? If you haven't, we are going to do 2 different interviews. One, you know I love to do the backstory. So Jan Kaufman, who is the owner of The Porch, and she's an incredible interior designer, she's going to come in and we're going to tell her backstory, the human interest story, coming up at the end of the month. That'll be on Tuesday. Let me think it's June 30th. Let me make sure. Yes, Tuesday, June 30th, Jan will be in with Nicole Little at 7 a.m. You're going to hear the backstory of how they ever come to be that incredible person that they become. And then we are going to do our Mobile Monica at noon. So come over for lunchtime. Here's your save the date. Tuesday, July 14th, we will be at The Porch. And I always ask you, where would you like to do the next Mobile Monica? I had a ton of people that reached out to me and said, Monica, come here. Monica, come there. We would love it. We love shining the business spotlight on small businesses. So as you see here below, shoot me a message. Tell me about a place or an idea at info@therealmonicaadams.com, and let's get that person featured or that business featured. Again, small business lifting up small business. And we're going to continue that on today's show. I've already seen some of you say, yay, it's Dot Day. That's become a thing, by the way, which I absolutely love. Yes, Dot Fleshman with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. She will be joining us on today's Friendship Friday show. And if you don't know her, we're going to introduce you to her next.
Thankful to Monica for having me on the show here today. I just love having the opportunity to try and help other people. There are a lot of people in my life that were there for me in my time of need, and that was important for me today to talk to Monica about that. You know, you can get low and then work yourself back up to where you want to be, and people around you can help you do that. Surround yourself with the right people. That's what Monica tries to do here with this show. In fact, I know that's what she wants to do, is she wants people that are like-minded to help each other, to point each other in the right direction, to lift each other up, not put each other down. It was amazing for me to sit in here and talk with Monica, and hopefully it helps somebody along the way. I know that every show that she puts on is fantastic. It's worth your while to be tuning in every single day. Don't worry about some of the negativity around the world, whether it's on TV and this, that, the other. Tune in here to Monica and let her tell her story as well as her guests tell their story. There's always something that you can get from somebody else. And if you pick up just one little thing that helps you, that makes this a success. And that is why I'm here with Monica today.
Well, thank you to Jamie Rivers, and he let everybody know that you can follow us on multiple platforms, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Instagram, X, LinkedIn, Rumble, Twitch, or maybe you find us on YouTube. And it's that simple. Just type in The Real Monica Adams Show. We have so many different wonderful guests. And of course, you know I love when we have our once a month on the first month, usually the first Friday, of the month, we bring on the beautiful Dot Fleshman. It's Dot Day, they're saying.
Good morning, Monica. Good morning, everyone.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I just feel like we haven't seen each other besides on Friendship Fridays for a bit.
Yeah, these little boxes that we have like Brady Bunch.
Right?
I know. Same thing I felt with Beckett, because Beckett's normally on with us every Monday and Friday. And I was like, oh, we're going to be gone. We're going to be gone. I did. It feels like we haven't seen each other in like 6 months. So anything exciting that you want to tell us about personally before we get into our Friendship Friday?
Well, I would just like to answer your question about the dog first of all.
Yep, please.
I'm a dog mama, and I would be heartbroken if something happened to my dog because of another dog. And I do feel that owners need to be held responsible. If you cannot control your dog, they don't come around other people. We were at Ted Drew's, just standing in line, and the people behind us had a nice, sweet dog. You know, he was a big dog, but nice, sweet, you know, having his ice cream. And another dog came up, another big dog, and this woman could not control her dog. So the problem is not the dog, but the owner could not control the dog. Therefore, it caused an altercation with the adults, and most people standing in line were booing her and telling her to leave. And she had to go put her dog back in her car, but she ended up just leaving altogether. And part of that is true. I understand people want big dogs. Only certain people should be able to have them if you can control them.
I agree. And, I'm looking at comments. If you're just tuning in, you're wondering, what are we talking about? Before we talk about Friendship Friday, we're sending all of our thoughts out to Steve Ewing, an incredible human being, an ambassador of St. Louis. Again, he's the lead singer of The Urge. He has Steve's Hot Dogs. He's got many other things that he's involved with. And he's a sweet, sweet man. I don't know his wife, but I'm sure she's just as sweet. And here she was walking the dog in Tower Grove Park. That dog is dead now. The dog was attacked, but they're blaming the breed of the dog, which is the problem that I have. And, Rose said, yes, he did, and I respectfully disagree, this particular person. I have a pit bull mix. Will she kill you? Yes, with kisses. Because you've obviously taken care of her. That is the thing. Yes, I agree with you, Dot. And again, we're not saying that you have to agree with us, but I think the main message is you have to be in control. That's of yourself, of your children, of your animals. Otherwise people are going to end up blaming whoever or whatever was not trained properly. And it really comes back to the owner. So it's heartbreaking, because they lost a dog and then she was injured as well. It's just, what a rough week, right? He gets his store vandalized twice and then this happens. I'm like, when you think you've had a bad day.
Right, exactly. So
crazy. Anyway, well, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. We are going to start off with some real estate talk, and then we're going to get into our Friendship Friday talk. And so I got to tell you, my friend, you and I have to talk, and we have to talk quickly, because Jim and I are going out to look at property. And I'm not going to say where, because I have gotten a tip on an area that may have some property open soon to only a handful of lots. So we have to talk, because I think one of the ways I want to start our real estate talk is if Jim's retiring in 9 to 10 months, we don't want to wait for 9 to 10 months and then all of a sudden he retires and then he says, okay, let's go ahead and move. We've been saying this every time you come on. You can't be thinking, oh, I'm going to go get a house or I'm going to go get property and I'm just going to do it and I've got nothing planned.
Well, planning is very, very important. Absolutely. That's rule number one. If you think, sometimes people don't get that much time, right? They weren't notified besides just the other day that they have to move and get a job somewhere else. And all of a sudden it's like, bam, you got to try and figure out how to sell your house and stuff like that. So sometimes we don't get that. But when you have the opportunity to, with your timeline, it is important to get planned, get with an agent and sit down, not just an agent, get with a lender as well. So it's important to have lender and agent together and create that plan for what that's going to look like. And the lender could probably get you pre-approved and et cetera, but what if, right? Some people might need that 4, 5, 6 months to clean something up in order to look better in the next 6 months. So, and ideally, is there an ideal time to sell your home? I mean, I sell homes in December and January and February when it's cold and there's snow out. We have pictures of houses because there's snow on the ground. I mean, so it's always a time, but the mass time is between spring and fall.
Right.
People kind of just want to get moved and settled before holidays.
Well, and then also it is what needs to be done. And this is where I will rely on Dot, because if, like I've been telling Jim, oh, I want to do this and this and this. And he's like, why are we putting all this expense into the house if the house is already beautiful, Monica? If they want to change things, they'll change things. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. So it's finding out, what does she say? This is probably what you want to do these things, but start doing them now so you don't feel overwhelmed trying to do it all at the last second. And so, you do a great job in trying to make this such a beautiful experience for everybody, whether it's their first home or it's the next transition, they get a bigger home, they downsize, whatever it may be, that you don't feel stressed.
Correct. And part of it is staying in contact and communication, and where are we with this, where are we with this, where are we with this, and just kind of staying on, because honestly, Monica, everyone gets busy. We have a great plan, and there's no fault to anyone. It's just that life happens and we get busy, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, I meant to pay that. I meant to paint. I meant to say paint that. I meant to fix that. And the next thing you know, you've got one weekend and you're trying to do it all. And it's,
which is why people get stressed. And you're like, why am I so stressed? Because you weren't organized.
The most important thing is protecting the relationship. It is so important to protect the relationship. A house is a house. And when we start getting mad with each other because we didn't do something, and I see this with couples, when we're trying, we're down to the crunch, and it's always like, whoa. If we're not ready, we're going to put this house on, we'll list it like in 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks or whatever it is. Like, the relationship has to be there as well. And I make sure that we stay on time according to our goal.
Once again, you want to work with someone that has your best interest at heart and is going to make this a great experience. I mentioned a lot of you have said, yay, Dot Day. You know her. You've watched her for the last couple of years. If you are new to our Friendship Fridays, we usually do this on the first Friday of the month, and Dot is a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. You can reach out to her at 314-324-3317. DotFleshman.com is the website, or email her and say, hey, I've got some questions. I'm in that transition aspect. Fleshman at cbrealty.com. And again, when it comes time for you, I always ask you to share this with your friends and family so that they know that we've got Dot ready for you. Again, that would be the greatest thing that you can do for us, support those that support us. Okay, so how have things been for you personally as far as what's sold, what's on the market,
Busy. It's been a busy month. It's been a busy season, of course. Tis the season. This is like my Christmas. There
we go. Merry Christmas, my friend.
I'll ask for my present later. No, it's been so fun. It really has, because, I'm always happy when people put homes on the market, because there's someone else who wants to buy your home. We still have a lack of inventory. So the minute your house is on the market, we potentially can get it sold quickly. And we have so many people like waiting in the wings, just waiting for a house to pop up. So yes, all of these houses, this house right here is a beautiful home that was renovated by my dear friend. He does an amazing job, he and his wife. And this house was purchased, and I thought, oh gosh, I mean, it would be a miracle. Well, the miracle happened. It was absolutely gorgeous. Sold within 4 days. And, there's going to be a beautiful owner who walks into a home that's move-in ready with everything completely done. everything.
That's a dream. What about this one?
A dream. And then this house, another dream with a pool and a huge backyard. The landscaping is like a golf course. And this is my family's home, basically, my in-laws, and they have the most perfect house, and everyone needs to right size. It's not always about upsizing or downsizing. Sometimes you just need to right size. And they found a home about 15 minutes away, even better than what they have right now. And so the people who are buying their house actually came to my open house, and they fell in love. Because my clients have a pool, the backyard is gorgeous. It's like an oasis. On that day, I was serving lemonade, had some suntan lotion on, kind of get the feel going for pool time. And they fell in love. They immediately said, he left and he came back with his wife, and then his wife and he left and called their agent and said, we're making an offer. So.
Again, happy people, right? This is what's coming for you. You're just like, oh, finally, we are under contract. Those two words.
7 offers on that home.
See, that's the crazy thing. I saw a comment from a dear friend of mine who is a real estate agent, and I don't know. Well, I think you two know each other. Anyway, I saw her post, and I saw everybody like flood in, going, "Preach, sister, preach," saying that do not have somebody come knocking on your door or have a letter that comes to you that says, I want to buy your home, and then you accept that. And her comment was, do you understand you are probably leaving $10,000 to $50,000 on the table because you don't really understand. Even though you may think it's a good offer, you have no clue what's waiting for you. You agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because most of the time these companies are going after, desperation.
Yep.
And if you're desperate to sell your house, or you just don't want to go through, showings and all of that, which is understandable, but it is about leaving money on the table. And if someone's like, I don't care, this is a good price and I just don't want to deal with it, well, that's okay. But I mean, if you're really wanting to capture, all the equity that you possibly can in your home, that would be like the best thing to do, is just kind of see. And if they really wanted to, have them buy it once it's listed.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's that, and it's also, people try to list things on their own and they run into a bunch of problems. This is why I want you. Yes, this is why you want that whole team. And by the way, it is a team, because as Dot was saying before, lenders, this, that, she's going to be like, hang on. Do you know anybody? No, I've got you, right? They all work together and they pick the best of the best. Again, if you're just tuning in, as you can see, Dot Fleshman, Coldwell Banker, Gundaker, we're doing our real estate talk and our Friendship Friday. So we showed you 2 under contracts. Here's one more.
Another one. And so this is another home. This is the home that my client is purchasing. And it's out in Wentzville. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful lot, perfect house. I think that when you look at all these homes that are, under contract or that are coming soon, I just closed on 2 yesterday, closed on another one today. Part of that is like I said, this is the season that people are wanting to get things out there. But these have been in the works since January, February, March. Here we are in June. So we have been planning. And it has taken some time to kind of get to closing. It's not like, you don't just put a sign in the lawn and boom, and it's like done. Sometimes closings take a little bit longer. Condos are a big thing right now as well. Like if you're a first time homeowner and you want to, you really don't want to move into a house, or if you are someone who's always on the go and you don't have time to cut your grass, you don't want your neighbors to be angry with you because you go from cut grass to 2 feet grass, cut grass to 2 feet grass. Maybe a condo's the way to go for you. Simplicity and easy. And some people just don't want a lot of space, and condos are the perfect way, for that. So,
Well-
and that's my client in New York.
I have a question for you about that, because everywhere, and do you all agree with this? Everywhere I'm driving, I'm like, more townhouses, more condos, more apartments instead of more houses. I'm seeing more and more and more of that. Is this what we're expecting to see in the coming years?
Monica, the big thing is we're trying to figure this out in the housing market. Yeah. If you gave me 5,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranches, I'd sell them like this year. we are in desperate need of that. But what's happening is, remember a couple of shows ago, we talked about the average age of a first-time home buyer. Okay, so back in my day, it was 26 years old was the average homeowner. And now today it's between 38 and 40 years old is an average first-time homeowner. Now, if you got in before that, great. You planned well, you've got your money, your credit score was right, et cetera, but you saved money. But what happens is if you don't have enough, think about it, back then you were buying a house for $100 and something thousand, even though relevantly we made less back then.
Right.
These young kids coming in making $50,000, $100,000. I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, we were making 20,000 and we were happy. However, so it's all relevant. It is.
Correct.
But the reality is they don't want to live with mom and dad.
Correct.
So they've got to go somewhere. Okay. So they're going to move into an apartment to, one, save money, and two, fix credit score. Those are the two things for two reasons why people haven't moved forward quickly. Now, so that's why there are apartments being built. So when you see them, most of them are apartments, most of them, and some of them are senior centers, where people are wanting to downsize from this big house to something smaller that they can maintain as they're older, because now they don't want to cut the grass and all that. But most of it is the apartments are there for a reason. Now, at some point when we can, I don't know how many years down the road, when we shift back, I could foresee that these apartment units become condos, because Brentwood Forest used to be apartments and now they're all condos.
Right.
So they switched over at some point in life back in the day to now be condos, and they're all somewhat smaller unit condos, for first-time home buyers or small families or single owners.
Yeah, I mean, one of my dear friends, she got all excited and she's like, "Oh, me and my husband want to send you an area where we're moving, and it's over in Chesterfield, and it's again one of those big conglomerations of townhouses." And I'm like, "You have a beautiful home. What?" And she's 40, all right. So and I was thinking, is this there forever? Is this a transition? I mean, we'll see, but it's all the mindset of, I want somebody else to take care and maintain things. I just want to live. I don't want to have to do all of that. And it's interesting because, again, I think it's a generational thing of the way we look. But you all weigh in. Let us know what you think. Let me look at questions real quick before we get into some of our other real estate talk. And I was just actually going to ask you about rates and where they were. But Rose has a good question and said, Dot, these price wars, are they always going to be the norm? I want it back to where what the price was is what the price was that you paid.
Hi, Rose. One day we're going to meet Rose. I love when she pops on. I'm just going to have to give her this big hug and kiss when I see her. I've never even met her, and I feel like we've been friends for a long time. Such a great question, Rose. Honestly, it's the best question. And we don't have a magic, mirror or secret ball that we can see the future. However, right now, it's just because there's a shortage, which is why that's the case. So let's just think about that. If you really, really want a house and you've been searching for houses for 6 months and you really just can't find one and you get so close, at some point you are going to say, I'll pay $30,000, $40,000 more than they're asking. I don't care. I just need to get into a house and I want to be in this one. This is the house I love. I love everything about it. And if you love it and you love everything about it, and you would, fight someone, to get that house because you really want it, you're not going to just pay what they're asking for. You're going to pay more because you want to be the winner of that offer. I just told you that I had 7 offers in that house. That meant 6 people. My heart was breaking to say no. Yep. We had to say, unfortunately, we chose another offer. So there are 6 other people out there, and I'm going to promise you, those 6 people who didn't get this one, they're going to pay more on that next one. So that's why it's there. But once we get past this and the market balances out, and then we get, more into a buyer's market. Back in the days, years ago, when it was a buyer's market, you had people saying, I want $500 for my house. And then they're like, okay, but I'll tell you what, I'll take $475. Yeah. All right, fine, I'll take $460. All right, fine, I'll take $450. Yeah. So, but from a homeowner, Rose, from a homeowner's perspective, when you go to sell your house, Do you really want to try to sell it for 500 and then just take 450? I mean, so we're going to be on the opposite end. What we really want is a balanced market.
There you go.
Sometimes you can get what you're asking for.
Well, yeah, because
More.
there are so many people right now that are saying, "Oh my gosh, I got this much over my asking price. This is amazing." And then I go, "Okay, well, you do realize you're going to now be in that exact other boat because you got to go find a house, and now you're going to be in a bidding war." A balanced market, that is the best thing that you could say. That's so key. Linda said we get phone, text, or postcards in the mail at least twice a week with someone wanting to buy our property. Yeah, folks, it happens nonstop. Don't give in to that. Linda said, "No way would I live in a condo. I love having a yard to maintain. I like my space outside." Right. Everybody feels different. Some people love to get out in their garden and do their landscaping, and other people are like, "Oh my God, it's a headache." So we get it. That's why we all have a choice in life. That's why we're all different. So, okay, before we continue on, rates, where are they right now?
So it depends on, again, your credit score, but on the average, we're 5.8, 6.5, somewhere in that range. Can you get something lower if you've got good credit and you've got, can you buy points and get it even lower? Absolutely, you can. Is it suggested? I mean, we know that right now, all the rates and what we're dealing with is because of this war and because it's the oil. And, once we get past all that, we foresee definitely some changes. And again, we had anticipated lots of changes. We just didn't anticipate this war.
Okay, so we want to ask what impacts the debt to income ratio?
Oh my gosh. Those, I'm telling you right now, this is a key. So your monthly debt payments, your car loan, your credit cards, your student loans, all these things are what we have, and we need. We need a car loan, we need our, we have our credit cards, etc. It's how we maintain them, and we really have to be careful. And how it all works together is with your income, your credit card balances. I've got a really big thing about the credit card balances. And about co-signing. And sometimes, you have to really, really be careful who you're co-signing for, and the legitimacy of it, meaning can they, are you co-signing because they're desperate and they can't afford it and you're like, okay, I'll do it? That's not the right reason to co-sign. The really good reason to co-sign is someone who has the money, they just don't have it right now. And then you co-sign for someone to get in and eventually you flip those numbers, etc. But co-signing does affect your debt to income ratio. Part of also your income, is it consistent income? They're going to look at how long have you been at your job, and if you stay, and there's frustrations in every job. There's not a perfect job out there besides mine.
And mine.
And mine's not actually, we all have those things, but part of it is trying to have, if you're going to be planning to move in a house. If you're a single guy or a single girl and you know that one day you're going to get married and you're going to want to have to move, these are things that keeping, in mind is like, they're going to look at your income and you want to have a consistent income. It's the same thing with your debt to income and with how much credit you have. And not even just how much credit. Here's a couple of things with credit. If you have a credit card that you don't use, you don't close it. Just cut it up, put it in a little envelope and put it to the side if you don't want to use it. But part of it is that what they're going to be looking for is how long have you had this credit card, and the longevity of your credit card makes a difference, okay? So that's one part of it. The other part of it is the higher the longer you keep a credit card and the better you are at your monthly payments, that all of a sudden your rate, your credit score, the availability that they give you goes up. Yeah. So then you might go from $2,000, maybe they'll give you $4,000, maybe they'll allow you $6,000. Well, as that number grows, and you don't want to use it, your credit card, that helps your debt to income kind of ratio. Like all these things matter. Your income, your credit cards, your school loans. Are you on time? One time late on a house payment can set you back a whole year.
Again, and this is where there's so much information that's out there that is misinformation or disinformation, where people say, oh, well, I've heard this, I've heard that. No, make sure that you are armed with the proper information of what you should be doing. And then, yes, I mean, if you think, I think back to, what is her name? Oh, Susie Orman. All the information she's brilliant, by the way. She has some really wonderful information of what you should be doing. And, looking at your credit score, it absolutely matters. Linda just said, that's the boat we're we're in. We're ready to sell, but don't want to short ourselves, and we don't want to pay a fortune for the next place. More or less, we want that perfect deal.
Well, we can find that perfect deal. And here's the thing, not everyone pays over asking. I had two deals going, and on one I thought for sure it was going to go like way over asking. And the other listing I thought, well, gosh, it'll go for, hopefully for what we're asking for. Well, it was like complete opposite. This one went for exactly what we asked for. So someone actually bought a home that was totally renovated, beautiful, for exactly what they asked for, which was still priced fairly well. But on the other one, we got way over asking because of the area, because of the schools, because of the pool, because, it all goes hand in hand. And we've talked about this plenty of times, and it's not on today's show, but the front of your house must be immaculate.
Agreed. And again, that's what I keep telling Jim. I'm like, let's make sure that we have this pretty landscaping, and let's enjoy it, by the way, for the next year before we decide to possibly do this. Before we get into investing in real estate, which I know a lot of you have thought about, maybe you do right now, and why should you? We'll talk about that in just a second. It's interesting. I reached out to Dot the other day and I said, oh my gosh, it must have been listed, but there was never a sign. I never even knew it was listed, but our neighbors to the left of us sold their house. And then there are 3 other houses for sale in our subdivision. Dot is well aware that our subdivision only has a handful of homes. And so Dot's like, is there something wrong? Do they know something we don't know? I'm like, I don't know. I just think this is crazy coincidence. But I got all the neighbors talking that the person who sold the home to the left of us, they had the real estate agent with the mindset of, let's list lower, and we know people are going to end up asking or trying to buy it for more. And then there are 3 other homes that are listed that are higher. And so they're like, ask her. If some agents go in with the mindset of, we'll go lower knowing it's going to go higher, and then others are like, no, if we don't list it at the higher price, we're not going to get that. What's your mindset as an agent?
It 100% depends on the house.
Okay.
It 100% depends on the house. Some houses you can get away with that, and other houses you don't. What's the value of the house? What's the value in the property? Has it been updated? Has it been modernized? Is it worth? So when we pull the comps, and you've got 2 houses, and there's 3 C's. The different conditions of the house, and if this condition is, let's say the outsides and the exteriors and everything are very similar, but this one has never really been updated. The condition's lower, so we're going to, offer lower. This one has got newer kitchens, newer bathrooms, newer everything. So for me, all 3 houses, I'd rather pay more for the house that's more updated, because that's like less than I have to do. And someone might say, but someone else might say, I'd rather pay less for this one because I want to do it the way I want it done. Yep. So I want my kitchen, my forever kitchen. I know her kitchen's updated, but I don't like her tile. I know, so you're going to get both sides. Neither of them are wrong. It just depends. But pricing it is going to be based on those conditions, where sometimes it fails. Someone might say, well, that house sold for, so therefore we will. And we can't if the condition is not similar.
But Dot brought up a good point, and she's like, well, by the time you and Jim are saying that you want to maybe start looking or maybe pulling the trigger next year, we'll have comps. We'll have hopefully several comps in the area. But my mindset is there. I have forever wanted to update our kitchen. I have forever wanted to update our bathrooms. Jim has always said, no, don't put the expense in. It frustrates me sometimes, but then I also am like, I don't know, maybe they would end up saying, forget it, I want to do it my own way. So yeah, trying to figure that out is like, we need a magic ball. Let's see, Linda, I wish you had your license in St. Francis or Madison counties. That's where we are looking.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's quite a ways.
Stephanie, what's the perfect credit score?
A perfect credit score, I don't know what, if you are in the 7s and higher, closer to, anything in the 8 is great.
Yep.
So if you are somewhere in the 7s and 8s, what happens is your interest changes based on anything from 6s. And I think in some places you have to be in 6s. But again, I like to stay in my lane. I like to refer you to my great lenders. Yep. And anyone who has any questions or even think, I wonder if I would qualify. It costs you nothing to either 1, get pre-qualified, and 2, to talk to them to see what could, because I was working with clients who said, I think we can afford $400,000 house. And we kept looking in the fours. And when they got pre-approved with my lender, they were approved in the sixes.
Oh.
So we were able to find them a house easily in the fives. And it was like we were meeting both ends, and they were very happy. But Monica, I do want to answer that question about the house just popped up on the market with a sold sign.
Yep.
Well, how does that happen, right? It happens because, let's just say I want to list your house and I'm ready to go. We've talked about listing, et cetera. Meanwhile, I've got another client and I'm helping them, and they're like, well, I'm looking for A, B, and C. And I'm like, this is like, you might love this Quentin house, So when you connect those two, it becomes like, you're like a dual agent, and all of a sudden, you've got the buyer and the seller, and all of a sudden it's, you make the deal, you put the sign in the lawn that says under contract, because you had both sides. So that's probably what happened in your neighborhood's case.
Yeah, because they literally, I had no clue. I don't get a chance to see this neighbor often, and someone's like, oh, did you hear they moved? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They didn't even have their home list. It was crazy. Okay, Rose, my 26-year-old son doesn't want to move out and rent and pay someone else's bills, so he's wanting to buy a house. I don't know when he's seriously going to do it, but he said, oh, I gotta find a real estate agent. And she said, oh, do I have one for you? There we go. That's when you're finally going to meet, Rose.
Right. We will finally meet.
Anne says, good morning. Dot's wonderful. She knows her clients. She is so resourceful. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, Stephanie said, my credit score evidently needs to get better. Thank you for the information. Babs just said, Dot is always great. See, we've done a great job, have we not? This is a wonderful partnership we've done. You all know her name. You know who she works with. If you don't and you're brand new, then I'm going to say it again. Dot Fleshman at cbrealty.com, 314-324-3317, and then Fleshman .com or .fleshman.com. Okay, so one more in the real estate realm. Why would you invest in real estate?
Right. Investing in real estate, right? Talk about the whole Gallup survey. And part of it is they're showing that real estate has been America's top choice for the best long-term investments. Okay, why? Well, because your equity is constantly growing, because the value of your home is constantly going up, and as you're paying it down, you start increasing all this equity in your home. So either you're going to put money in a stock market, and we don't really know how that goes. Sometimes, you do really well, and sometimes you don't. I mean, we've all been there where we've lost so much money. I can just cry about how much we've lost in the past when that time happened. But a big thing that people are doing, even like Rose's son, he could say, I'm going to live here at my house for a little bit longer, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a house not for me to live in. I'm going to buy a house for someone else to live in. And then he rents that property out to someone else. Meanwhile, he's in a position where he can live somewhere, etc. Maybe there's a boyfriend-girlfriend type thing. Maybe the boyfriend buys a house, but they don't move into it. He stays with the girlfriend, but he buys a house, and he's got someone who's paying that mortgage every single month. So again, what's happening is he's investing in himself. He's got someone else paying that mortgage, and eventually pay that whole house off. He can just keep that until whenever. But at some point when he decides to sell, what has he put into it? He's probably put, let's just say, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whatever he's put down into it, and that's the value of what he's put into that home. But one day he'll sell it for whatever that dollar amount is, $200,000, $300,000+. So what you're looking at is stock market, house. And so people are doing that. Right now, I've got an investor from New York, and he's buying property in St. Louis because he knows that St. Louis has an amazing value to their property.
Yep. We absolutely do. And again, I'm excited when I'm seeing more and more, we just talked about what's coming from an Olympic standpoint, and seeing that we're getting more attention, that those type of things obviously will only continue to help us. So you just, again, speak positive. We always talk about being kind. Speak positive about the area where we live, and you have more people coming from other cities going, this is a great place to live. It is. And it's funny you just say that, Stephanie. I absolutely have in my head that one of these Friendship Fridays that we do, that Dot and I do it in the kitchen at Adventure Unknown. She said she would love for you and I to do a Foodie Friday. So,
right.
So let's make that happen. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to transition into our friendship side. And by the way, I love what Dot's come up with this month because it very much goes into my life coaching brain. I just started a 90-day challenge with a bunch of my clients and a couple of new people, by the way, that jumped on. And I'm asking them very similar questions that Dot has prepared for you. So I'm excited about this. When we return, we're going to flip things into our Friendship Friday. So keep your questions coming in, keep your comments coming in, and don't go anywhere. I want to tell you about our friends at Fenton Family Dentistry, by the way, and they do sponsor our weather segments. And if you didn't hear, 97 degrees by next Thursday is what Beckett was saying. Otherwise, not too bad of a weekend. We do have some possibility of rain coming in. When it comes time for you to find a dentist, and you're like, you know what? I don't really have a good one, but I would love to find out more. Well, this is Fenton Family Dentistry. And I was just talking to a lady yesterday, and she's like, oh, I need a dentist. And I'm like, great. You're going to love Dr. Jessica. You're going to love Abraham. You're going to love the team. And you're going to love him. Come on, that's Augie. Do you have a dentist where a dog gets a chance to greet you and calm you? Or if you have any fear about dentistry, he can take care of you as well as the entire team. And I mean, really it is. You walk in the door and it feels like there's incredible positive energy there. So I can't wait. We're going to have Fenton Family Dentistry next Tuesday on our Testament Tuesday. And Abraham's actually coming in with his father. And he's written some books that have to do with faith, which I absolutely love. Fenton Family Dentistry, 636-326-7633 at Fenton Family Dentistry and on social media, or check out their website, fentonfamilydentistry.com. They are located, by the way, at 552 Old Smiser Mill Road. Obviously in Fenton. Of course, let them know that you heard them on The Real Monica Adams Show. Can't wait for you to get in and to completely have your life changed. All right, welcome back to the show. Again, it is a Friendship Friday and it is a Real Estate Friday with our dear friend Dot Fleshman with Coldwell Banker Gundaker Realtor. So we have been talking about real estate. Now we're going to switch. And I love these things that you've come up with, by the way, with regards to who we are, how we are, mentally, physically, spiritually, etc. So this is going to be our mid-year checkup, right? And
That's right.
I can't believe we're already saying that. First of all, I cannot believe that we.
I know, it's June. I don't even know how we got here. I mean, it's
I
like,
was going to say it. How is this possible? How has this already happened? How are we halfway through 2026 already? It's crazy to me. So let's check in on all of you. Who are we becoming? So I love this. This picture says it all, right? So trying to find some peace and calmness. Are you journaling? Are you finding your purpose in life? Are you taking care of the number one person you need to take care of? And that is you, right? I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
I love that.
What a profound thing. I was going to say, what a profound thing to say. So, okay, let's start with you. First of all, I'm going to check in with you. How are you doing midway through 26?
Yeah, I'm failing. I can't check not one of those things off. I mean, trying to find the time even to work out, I'm failing at it. And it's like the time is being stretched. And that's why I'm like, it can't be June. It's just crazy. I mean, trying to even see family sometimes. And the thing is I don't want to say no to my clients. I don't want to say no to someone who's just been so desperate for the last 3 to 4 months, showings after showings after showings after showings after showings. I mean, it's a constant. We don't just go out and see 2 houses and we're bummed out. It's just an ongoing battle. And I mean, I've worked with some of these clients, since the early spring when it was still cold and I was wearing boots, and we're still looking for a house. So part of it is out there. Are we getting outbid? Yes, there's lots of things happening. But from that perspective, it's like I'm constantly searching for houses or doing whatever. I have started getting some help to assist me with where I am in my business at the moment. And part of that is why I say it's like I'm failing, is not in the business realm, but like, I'd like to work out. I'd like to go take those walks. I'd like to maybe go do things more than I, to cherish, that work-life balance. And that's where I'm failing.
So, I think I must have felt that, or I think God must have been like whispering it to me. Because this whole 90-day challenge thing that I came up with came out of nowhere. I just started feeling it from things I was seeing on social media, things I was hearing from people around me in my friendship circles, through my clients, etc. And I was like, let's do this. So I put that video out there, and I have been inundated with people that are like, oh, I want to be a part of it. Now, again, what do I preach? Know your value. It's on the front of my journals. So is it free? No. I mean, look, I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have a background in wellness and personal training and sports medicine and life coaching. So, yes, there's a cost to it, but there's an incredible value to it. It is every day, this community. And for some people, they were like, oh, I didn't know I had to post. And I said, the reason you're posting in this text message thread is to show that you did it. And the other people who are in that with you are showing that they did it, hoping that it will motivate you to say, look, they did it. They were busy. And so last night, and sometimes the challenge is simply that I want you to download a meditation app so you understand the mindset of actually doing that meditation or calming down. So last night, they were late at night sending know your value, right? Knowing that they had their journals, and it was late at night, and one of them said, and I'll go ahead and pass this on, at 10:40 last night, finally home from a really long day at work and graduation. However, it filled my soul and was so motivating. I just sat and journaled and listened to meditation music. Oh, and I did my 1-minute plank, because every day I'm asking them to do a 1-minute plank. And so each day it might be a physical challenge. Today it more is, I want you to download a meditation app. I want you to think about what I asked you in those questions, because I made you hyper-focus and slow down on specific questions that were asking you pretty much these same things that Dot and I are talking about today, which is what you want to get to. Why do you think you've never done it? The goals that you have, do you think you deserve it? Are you focusing on yourself? These kind of things that make you stop and write and take it out of this and put it on paper and then look at it. And so there's a mental, there's a spiritual, there's a physical realm to it. And then, yes, we do work out as a community twice a week. So you get me working out with you. But I think sometimes you need a community, or you need an accountability partner, Dot, that says, I know we all get so busy and we think we can't carve out 15, 20, 30 minutes. As I'm saying this, and my sweet little dog just came walking up and she just laid down, and I look and go, well, she wants to be walked. So it's dual purpose. I get my walk in, I get out in nature. She gets walked. I try to walk her earlier so she's not in the hottest part of the day, right? These things that we think about for everybody else, do we think about them for ourselves? So I want you all to listen to these, by the way, because I want you to drop a comment in. And maybe you do it now, or maybe you do it later if you have to rush off. But listen to these things that Dot is saying. A mid-year checkup. Who are we becoming, as we just showed you in that photo? Are our daily habits matching our goals? So here's some questions. What did you say you wanted for yourself at the beginning of the year, which is kind of what I had put in the challenge? Are your daily actions moving you towards that person? What habits have helped you grow, and what habits may be holding you back? I just talked out about who is influencing us, right? So this group, it's this whole community where they're like, oh, look, she's doing it. She's doing it. Why am I not saying that I'm important? So the people we spend the most time with shape us. Are our friendships encouraging growth, positivity, and accountability? Have you outgrown certain relationships or environments? And who has inspired you? So we're going to get to other ones that she has provided. But when you wrote all those for me, Dot, where did you get those from? Is it what your mind and your spirit are thinking about?
So I have so many books that I read, and I'm constantly reading, and I'm constantly thinking about things. And I spent 29 years in the hospitality industry, in the past, and so I was a coach and a mentor and a trainer, and I was constantly having to ask those questions of others. It's the same thing, like I said, my job back then was to teach people how to build their businesses and how to prosper, and then I'd get into real estate and I have to teach myself how to build my business and how to prosper. So part of it is just in my innate to be able to say, what are these things? And I've always been, as you are, Monica, on the side of optimism and positivity, and making sure that we're always looking for the right things. I keep God in my corner, and it's like doing the right things and being happy, or just doing good deeds. And so you're busy doing those things. And, when I say things like I'm failing, it's kind of like we say, what we say is what we hear, and then how we react to our, to those things that we're hearing. And so it sounds like it's a negative, but I know that I'm in general not failing. I'm doing great things on a different aspect somewhere else. So if you look at your big circle, like your little pie, and you cut it out, maybe working out is not a big portion that I would like it to be. It's maybe so tiny, and I'm doing more somewhere else. But part of it is looking at it and saying, where are we? What are we doing? So I get to go to this really great, fun crawfish boil on Saturday, but then on Sunday I'm going to a funeral for someone who's 65. What happened? How are we doing? It was a health thing, but from a health perspective, are we staying healthy? Are we really doing the right things? Maybe I didn't get to work out, but guess what? I ate better. So you've got that balance that, you might have. And I don't want to be hard on myself and, hold myself hostage of anything. But part of like what you're doing, like I saw that, Monica, and I thought, oh, I should join that challenge. And I thought, Dot, don't add one more thing to your plate. Like, how can I do that? But like, can I do a 1-minute plank every day? I probably can.
I think it is the unknown.
Get out of bed and just do a 1-minute plank, or better yet, I just put my little weights in my bedroom. I don't even have to walk to the workout room. I can just go use it and just do my arms, just if I'm doing something,
Yes.
for whatever. And then when I'm like brushing my teeth, I'm doing my toes, where I'm like lifting myself up. Okay, so you can do a few little things along the way. But the biggest part of talking about where are we is not just about ourselves, but where are we with our friendships? Yes. Where are we with our friends? Are we, I'm good at reaching out. Like if I haven't seen someone for a while, I'll like reach out to them via a text, via a phone call, something. I'll send them something funny. There's so much fun and laughter in our world. We want to just be very careful of people's mental health. Especially, I say this all the time. If you have a friend that's single and that they're not out and about, give them a call, ask them how they're doing. All of those types of things. And so part of that made me think about mid-year checkup. It's like our car.
Yep.
We gotta get a car checkup. How are we doing?
Well, so what I hope you just heard and what Dot was saying is, first of all, celebrate the wins. I am very big on looking in the mirror, and I know you all don't want to do this. Some people have an aversion to a mirror. When they go to work out, they don't want to be around it whatsoever. They're so frustrated with where they currently are, which, by the way, is a good thing. That means you want to change, you want to shift, you want to transform. So it's in your mind to do so. You have to take the steps to do it. Dot made a great comment, which was, I saw that video. I thought I should do it. Oh, wait. Nope, I don't want to put one thing on my plate, but it was an unknown. At least seek it out. What does it look like? Is it my time? I will tell you that there was one girl that we put in it, and she's like, you know what? It gave me anxiety seeing what everybody else was doing. And I said, it's unfortunate that she looked at it that way when it was supposed to be, this is a community that's saying, we're here for you. And if that person's not posting, they're going to check in on. We're going to mental health check, right? Because she's struggling from a mental health standpoint. But this was hoping to surround with positivity. But I wrote her and I said, it's okay. You're not ready, but you will be. And when you are, we're here as a community waiting for you. I don't want it ever to be something that makes somebody feel anxious. But when I say it was a challenge, because I've trained for so long, people took it as, oh, it's going to be crazy hardcore. I'm not going to be able to do this. And now they're all realizing, oh, she's making us slow down. She's making us ask very important questions about self-love. She's having us do yoga. Today I told them, I want you to do yoga or Pilates, some type of slowing it down. Tomorrow we're going to do legs in person with me or virtually. We've got some girls that are working out in Hawaii and in Colorado. So it literally is wherever someone is, and that means wherever you are in your state. Are you ready to say yes to you is what this really was all about. But yeah, we're checking in with you mid-year. The other question she came, what has life taught you so far? Unexpected challenges often reveal character. How have setbacks changed you? That's a really good one to learn from. What lessons have you learned? What strengths have you discovered that you didn't know you have? And again, why do you ask yourself these questions? Because then you start realizing, oh, I'm better than I thought I was.
Right.
I completely tear myself down on a regular basis.
Right.
I love this one. Are you becoming more of who you want to be? Are you kinder? Obviously, that's the thing that Dot and I love. Are you more patient? That's a really hard one for a lot of us. Are you healthier? But what does healthier mean, right? We can all look, oh, does that mean eating? We didn't say that. Are you healthier in your mind, spirit? Are you healthier with relationships? Are you more courageous? That's a good one, Dot. Am I more present with the people I love? Or am I on these things? Am I paying attention? Those are good questions. Let's see. There's a comment that just came in. Richard, yes, my plate's a little full right now, and I can still put in a 1-minute plank. See? Then you feel like, oh, I did accomplish something. I'm telling you, my client the other day said, "Hey, I want you to time me. I think I can do two." I said, "I didn't say to do two. I said do one. Because if you do one, you're consistent. You have formed a habit. If you want to do more, fine, but I don't want you to do more. I want you to do a minute with me because that is what I want you to say. We did a minute. We did a minute. Every day I did a minute." And for some people, they're probably like, "A minute? That's no big deal." And others say, "I can't hold a minute." So, right?
Right.
We're all coming in on
Right.
this in a different area. Lastly, what needs to change for the second half of the year? Because we always have the opportunity to say, okay, so this didn't go right. I have a new lease on life. I mean, that's my prayer every day. Thank you for the breath in my lungs and for allowing me to be here on your earth again. And what can I do for you? So what do we need to start doing today, this second, right now? What do you need to stop doing or erase from your life that's not serving you? That's the question I ask. How does it serve you? What relationships need more attention? And what dreams deserve a second chance? I love these people that allow me to tell their stories, Dot, where they say, I was doing this for 30 years, and then I decided to open a boutique. I decided to become this. I decided to go back to school, and I'm 50, I'm 60. And I'm like, look, see, because you believed at any point, age does not stop you.
Right. It does not. It does not. But one of the things that you just said earlier is, it's not about right or wrong. Just like I said earlier about planning, and I said, hey, if you think you're going to buy a house, let's plan, let's put some goals in place, etc. You guys, those are just goals. Real life happens. Yep. And we can't falter when life happens, and then all of a sudden we're like, well, that's not part of our goal. That's okay. That is okay. Yep. Something just happened, and we're you know what we're going to do? We're going to pivot, and we're just going to take a step back, and we're going to take a breath, and we're going to look at it and say, okay, where do we start from today? It's okay that we had those goals. Now we're going to have a different goal if that's the case. Someone could have said, here's the house we want to buy, and all of a sudden they lose their job. Here's the situation I want to have, and all of a sudden her husband has a heart attack and dies. There's we pivot in life. Yes, and part of it is these are questions to ask. Here we are. Where are we? Midway. It's June. Where do I want to be from here to there? I don't want to create more unrealistic goals. All I want to say is, you know what? I'm putting it out there so I can just remember to say to myself, I'm going to do one more thing or one more whatever. Just changing something in your life is going to be better than just nothing. And it's always, and by the way, accountability partners are huge. Mm-hmm. I had an accountability partner at work, and I remember I had to make 50 calls a week. And I was like, and I made 30, and I was like, well, I made 30. And he's like, well, 30 is not 50. And I was like, oh my God, it's so mean. But really, it wasn't mean. It was like, by the time I got there, it was like, I got it. And I have learned different things about my business based on whatever. And it's the same thing here. Who are our friends? Are we reaching out to our friends? Do we have friends that maybe, no longer fit us for whatever reasons? Maybe we were friends because our kids were in ballet together, and now, our kids are in their 30s and whatever. There are people that are going to come into your life, and then there's friendships.
Right. And I reached out to Dot and I said, so Dot and her husband and me and Jim, we're going finally on a little getaway, and it's going to be so good for the soul. We're gonna laugh like crazy. We're gonna eat some good food. We're gonna see our dear friend who lives in Las Vegas, which I'm so excited about. We're gonna see my cousin who lives in Las Vegas that I haven't seen in forever, and I'm gonna introduce incredible souls together that probably will end up having, oh my gosh, give me your phone number because we need to stay in touch, right? Friendships that form through these incredible, sometimes chance encounters, to others that are, made that are meant to happen, I should say. But I said, hey, we should get together maybe before we go and start planning things. And her comment back was, I can't wait to have lunch with my BFF.
Right.
Right. Let's make time. By the way, we're going to have a date near the end of July. Do you know why?
Why?
Because we're going to get in one of the. All right.
Oh! I saw that. You guys I saw your dance when you were dancing because you were so happy that you guys got it.
Yeah. So this, by the way, I've been asking everybody, again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. And of course, as you know, Dot is one of them. Support all of them if you want this incredible show to be around. And one of them is Spas and More, which is in Sunset Hills. And by the way, that's the one we chose, Dot. That is the one that everybody was like, oh, I like that darker walnut. Oh, I love all those colors. So that's the one. It's called Midnight Canyon, by the way. And nice. We're going to get that July 24th is when they are finally going to deliver it. So you have to come over. We'll have a little peace and laughter, and we'll sit in the hot tub together.
We'll
Sound
sit in
good?
the hot tub in the 97-degree weather. Okay.
It's funny because Angie, who was on with us the other day from Spas and More, and I said my mindset of getting a spa or a hot tub is usually fall, winter when it's colder and the snow's falling and you're sitting in a hot tub. But she said this is like the most popular time. You talked about when is the best time to buy a house. Shockingly, people are like, "Oh, let's get a hot tub. We can't get a pool, or we have a pool. We want to add a hot tub to it." So yeah. So folks, anyway, let me thank them real quick. Spas and More. STL.com, Spas and More, STL.com, at Spas and More, STL. So myself, or you can bounce over to our friend Michelle's because she's also getting one. And then I have a friend who owns a restaurant in Washington, Missouri, and she's like, I saw that. I want a hot tub. We are actively looking. I'm like, okay, please do me a favor and go support those that support us. So folks, we are wrapping up our show, our Friendship Friday show, checking in with yourself. Do a mental, physical, spiritual checkup. You're 6 months in. Don't go off on yourself. You are where you're supposed to be right now. Now, though, if you don't want to stay there, make a change. Start surrounding yourself with things that are going to move you into that direction. So next month, we will visit with Dot literally before America's 250th anniversary. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. I love this, right? USA, we're ready.
So everyone needs to plan in advance. So we're going to talk about it next month, but it's going to be already at the end of this month that you really need to be planning. But go buy a bunch of flags. Yep. Go put flags out in your neighborhood. Put anything 250. Have a little celebration. Make this 4th of July coming up, a big celebration. It's our 250th. But do something kind for your neighbors. Put a little. If it's not a flag, nice size flag, go get those little bitty ones and
put the yard.
Put flags out.
I've seen a lot of them.
Red, white, and blue. Get in the habit of wearing your red, white, and blue to celebrate that week. Right.
Look, somebody said, "Oh, why'd you get that?" I'm like, well, because first of all, I love our country, but I'm like, it's coming up to 250 years, and I am going to show this proudly, and I'm showing it right now, and we're going to continue to do so. Be proud. And by the way, for all those that have served for the freedom we have in this country, we cannot thank you enough. That's the biggest thing. Well, my friend, it was great to see you. Let's make our lunch date, and I'm excited because we will then be able to tell all of you about our trip because we will literally just be coming back the next time you see Dot on screen with us.
That's right.
All right, my friend, I love you.
Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a happy rest of the month of June. And Monica, we'll talk in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Or less than that. We'll be gone in 2 weeks.
We're gonna have a good time. Trust me. Stephanie just said thank you, Monica and Dot. Yes, have a good weekend to you as well. Real quick, just to order of business. Have a great weekend. Please take care of yourself. And next week, I mentioned on Tuesday, we have Abraham Whitehead and his father coming in on a Testament Tuesday. I'm still working to secure something on Monday. I'm hoping to make it work. There was something in the news the other day that really got my attention, and I'm hoping that we get an opportunity to find a local tie to this so that we can tell you a little bit more about a news story called that said an experimental pill is promising new hope for deadly pancreatic cancer. So right now I am talking to some of our physicians in town to see if we can make that happen. If so, that will be our Medical Monday. If not, we're going to check on you from a health standpoint, and I might do the show from home on Monday. We've got Wellness Wednesday coming up next week, and then we get into you talked about Foodie Friday, Vicia Restaurant, one of the 5 restaurants or chefs that are up for a James Beard Award. So we've got Vicia Restaurant. We also have Louis. I knew I'd forget one. We have Lauren Knowledge from Balkan Treatbox, and then we also have Nick Bogner with Sato right there in the hill. They're saying it's like the best sushi place that we have in our area. And why am I forgetting another restaurant? Anyway, there's 5 of them, but Vicia is one. So we're going to visit with them next week, and that'll be a part of our Foodie Friday. Excuse me. For your faith side, we're going to pull again from our Divine Inspiration cards. Marietta Divine, by the way, look her up. You want some more faith in your life? Look up the Girl of Prayer and then take that into your life and start doing these small little things that bring your spirituality back into play. I lay it down so he can lift me up. See, sometimes it's just that simple. You don't have to have a big devotional. You just need something positive to make your spirit feel better. In this moment, I lay it down so he can lift me up. Whatever it is that you're going through, put it into his hands. Every burden I release makes room for his peace. Good one. It's that simple. That make you feel a little bit better? I hope it did. God bless you all. Have a beautiful week, and I can't wait to see you Monday morning. From now till then, remember to be kind.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.